You can listen to this practice wherever you find yourself today. You can be sitting down or laying down, or even stretching and doing things if that's what you got to do. And hopefully, wherever you're at when you listen, this will still be helpful to you in some way. So if you would like to listen to this in a still position, just allow yourself to take all the time that you need to fidget, adjust, stretch, or move your body in whatever ways your body wants to move. As you do your best to not think about the movements at all or worry about what anything looks like, but just coming more fully into the sensations that you feel in your body. And just following those yummy sensations that you might feel when you do some neck rolls or side body bends, torso twists, maybe some cat-cow motions with the spine, opening and closing the heart space. Just trusting any instincts at all that you have for movement. And almost letting your body move you in the ways that intuitively feel good in your bones, muscles, and joints. And at any time, if what feels best in your body is stillness, then honoring that need for stillness whenever that feels like what's right for you. And there's also no rush whatsoever. You can continue to move throughout this practice whenever you feel the need to. But if you would like to listen to this in a still position and have not made your way there by now, then you may do so whenever you are ready. Just checking in that your spine is nice and straight in whatever position you've chosen. And if you're in a space where you feel safe and would like to, you can allow the eyes to gently close at any time if they aren't already. So you take a moment now to mark your arrival into your practice today and into your body today with a full and intentional cleansing breath. Calling in fresh new air into the body and almost watching yourself as you fill up to every corner and edge of you. As you just hold that for a moment once you're full, to stay and experience what it feels like to be full of air right now. And slowly, as you need to, letting it all go. Exhaling bit by bit. As you gently pull the navel toward the spine at the bottom of your exhale to push any last bit of stagnant air out of you. As you again pause for a moment here to now sit and experience the sense of emptiness in the body. As you allow your next breath to come to you as it's needed. And you can continue to breathe in this slow and exaggerated way for as long as it feels good and helpful to you. Not worrying about the actual length of your inhales, exhales, and pauses on either side, but just letting each of these 4 parts of your breath be exaggerated, whatever that means for you right now. So when the body naturally would stop inhaling, just seeing if you can expand your belly, maybe the back of your rib cage, just a little bit more to take in one more sip of air. And when you would naturally roll over to your exhale, seeing if you can hold off on that for one extra moment, just to stay with a bit more intention in that fullness. And then as you let it all go, even once you think you're empty, seeing if you can push out one more bit of air and staying for an extra moment in that empty place as you allow your next breath to come as it's needed. And there's no rush whatsoever. You can continue to breathe in this slow, intentional, in an exaggerated way for as long as it feels good and helpful to you. But at any point, if you haven't already, you may release this guidance over your breath altogether and allow yourself to step almost back and up in the mind and into the role of the observer or the witness. Into that perspective where you are no longer controlling or guiding the depth or rhythm of your breath, but you are simply watching as each breath comes and goes, all on its own, without any of your doing, without any of your direction. Remembering how your body does breathe all on its own. And just seeing if only for a moment you can watch your body as it breathes you. The same way that you would watch any other force of nature. The way you watch the waves as they roll up along the shoreline. Or watch a beautiful landscape, maybe a storm outside your window. Not trying to change anything about what you are witnessing, but simply witnessing. Reminding yourself that you are also a force of nature. And you are capable of witnessing yourself just as you do any other force of nature. There is absolutely nothing that you need to do right now. There is nothing you need to change or fix right now. This is not a doing, thinking, changing, or fixing process. But this practice is one about observing, of listening, feeling, and approaching yourself and your own personal human experience from a curious perspective. And making note of any judgments or expectations that pop up in the mind, as the mind will wander, it will judge, it will make expectations, it will try to hold you to certain standards, maybe wandering away from this moment to the past or to the future. But just know that the moment you notice the mind is thinking or wandering or judging, whatever the mind is doing, that act of noticing in itself automatically brings you back to this present moment, where all things exist. And just becoming curious about how you are right now. Maybe who you are right now, or where in the world you are right now. When we assume that we know how we're feeling or how we are doing, or what our environment is like, our own assumptions can rob us of new discoveries. And we can exist in the same body, in the same place for many, many years. And things are changing every single moment. But if we do not slow down to notice, then we just won't. And it can be the same thing with the progress that we make in our lives. Oftentimes we feel stuck with where we are. And sometimes all it takes is reminders from our own history to show us that we are changing. We have already changed. We have already grown in so many ways. And we are already on our way to exactly where we want to be, to exactly where we are meant to be. And you can let the facts of the history of your own life and your own growth be proof that you are strong enough to keep going forward. Every single thing that you have survived just to be alive in your body right now, and able to hear the words I'm saying and feel all it is that you are feeling. Your existence alone is proof of your strength. And so take a moment now to just check in with your face. And even with the eyes closed, just make note of any resting expression that you feel on the face right now. If you were to catch a glimpse of yourself in the mirror, just making note of any expression you would see there, and any emotions that could be communicated by this resting expression. since sometimes we can think we are relaxed and our muscles are soft, but when we see ourselves, we can notice that our brow is furrowed or our jaw is tense, maybe the nostrils flared. And again, just allowing the act of you noticing be all that you need to instead allow these areas to soften. And allow your jaw to hang into place as your tongue releases from the roof of the mouth. And feeling your lips resting softly on one another. As you allow that softness and sense of release in the mouth naturally spread to your chin, softening that even further. Your nostrils, your cheeks, even the ears. Allowing your eyelids to rest on one another as even your gaze becomes soft. Feeling your forehead be wide and deep as your hairline softens back just slightly. As you maybe feel this sense that all of the muscles in the face are just ungripping from the bones. All the muscles in the face releasing back into the support of your own skin. As you remind your body, remind your muscles that it is safe to let go. Remembering that when you let go and fully soften your body, you are never crushed and you never float away. But with the magic and love and support of the earth beneath you and gravity all around you, when you let go, even when you're in your deepest state of sleep, you are always held exactly where you need to be. And so even if there is a sense of distrust within your own body, if you've battled any illness or disease in the body in the past or in the present, you can just know that even when there is illness and disease in the body, even beneath all of that is a deep and ultimate sense of trust and safety. And sometimes in that quiet space, after we've been in a lot of pain, or maybe when we are currently experiencing a lot of pain that just won't go away, sometimes we can almost go underneath it in a way. And oftentimes, the thickest and heaviest layer of our pain and suffering is simply resistance. It's us resisting reality, which we can validate and make sense of because when reality is painful, of course we want to resist it. And at the same time, we can notice when we are trying to pull away from what's happening, from what we're feeling, from what's going on. And we're just trying to run and distract and escape whatever is here. And instead, we can choose to sit more fully with this pain, with this discomfort, to almost zoom in on it, to put more of your focus into it, and exhale into it. Exhale into every aspect about this present moment for you, which will always contain a unique combination of things that we feel are good and things that we feel are bad and painful. And just seeing if even just for a moment you can find that sense of release and acceptance with exactly who you are, where you are, and how you are right now. It may only be for a split second, but just seeing if you can allow yourself to be exactly as you are. The same way you allow anyone else that you love be exactly as they are. If you imagine anyone else who you love dearly, maybe a parent or sibling or best friend, partner, maybe an animal, anyone that you love, when you see them hurting and in pain, you do not rush to blame them for it or judge them for having pain or try to convince them that they're not in pain. But when we love someone, we just hold them when they're in pain. Maybe we cry with them. We are there for them, asking them what they need from us, if they need anything at all besides love and support. And for some reason, all of that gets lost when we are in relationship with ourselves, or it can get lost. And we can blame ourselves when we're in pain and judge ourselves for being ill or assume that, we've done something wrong and be hard on ourselves. But there is no need to do that. There is no need to make your pain and suffering any heavier than it already is. And you are allowed to just cry, just hug yourself, just do exactly what it is you need to do to comfort yourself, to make it to the next moment, if that's how bad things are, or make it to the next day, the next week. And just know that you are allowed to treat yourself with the same patience, love, and respect that you treat the people you love with, in the way that you want your loved ones to treat you. And in that place of love and pure acceptance, we may feel a moment of relief from our pain and suffering that is a part of life. We are not meant to fully escape pain, suffering, and bad things in our lives. But as humans, we are simply meant to live the human experience, which has always and will always contain some amount of pain and suffering. And we can make those time periods of pain and suffering a lot easier on ourselves if we just accept them as a part of life. The same way we accept the trees when they shed their leaves, or the moon when it's in the shadows. We can accept our own dark times in that same way, with the knowledge that it is a necessary phase and that it is a phase and is temporary. Since the only thing that we can all count on in this life is that everything changes. And so as you allow yourself to maybe feel a hint of acceptance with who you are, how you are, and where you are right now, you can also remind yourself that acceptance does not mean that you like it necessarily or agree with where you are, or even want to be the way that you are. But acceptance simply means that you acknowledge what is, which is the first and necessary step in any and all real change, internal and external. And so it can sometimes sound or feel confusing to try to find acceptance for the horrible things about our lives and the world in general. But we can remember that by accepting what is here, it gives you the greatest vantage point to see all of your options. And it doesn't mean that you will be stuck the way that you are if you accept the way that you are. In fact, I think it's Carl Rogers has a quote, "The curious paradox. The more I accept myself, the more I can change." Something along those lines. So accepting who you are does not mean that you will stay this way forever, because that will never happen. We will always be constantly changing. And when you can acknowledge the parts of yourself that you would like to change, or the directions that you would prefer to grow in, it gives you so much more freedom and autonomy with your life and with where you want to go, with where you see yourself, while always leaving space in your heart and mind for these surprises that life will always have in store for us. Because I'm sure when you look back on the story of your life, some of the best moments, the happiest moments, most loving moments are not ones that could be planned for. So just know that all of those loving, joyful, and exciting moments that will happen in the future that you cannot plan for are already on their way to you right now. So just take a moment right now to just bring your attention to your heart, into the rhythm of your own heartbeat. Maybe even placing one or both hands on top of the heart to just encourage that feeling from the outside as well. But just tuning in and syncing up your awareness with the steady background beat to your entire existence. Remembering the pure gift that this beating heart is, and how there is nothing that you've ever done or are doing or ever will do that makes your heart beat. But this is a pure gift, a constant gift of life being fed into your body. And your heart pumps this life to every inch of you, to your toes, fingertips, the tip of your head, and every inch in between. And your heart, beating all on its own, is innately connected to whatever source or force makes all of our hearts beat, makes the birds sing and the waves roll up along the shoreline. Whatever source or force allows all of life to be here, allows you to be here. And we know that energy cannot be created or destroyed. And the spark that is within you is nothing but pure energy. And so you will never be destroyed. And you will always have this innate connection to the source that all life comes from, simply by being alive. And there is nothing you or anyone can do that will ever take that connection away. Even when we wax and wane with how connected we feel, just like the moon, we are always connected. The moon is always there in the sky, whether it's fully illuminated and bright and shining light for us in the darkness, or whether it's in the darkness itself, not reflecting any light. It is still there. And we are the same way. No matter what phase of life you're in, no matter what mood you are in, there is nothing that can happen that will ever strip you of this connection. You have your own personal and direct line of connection to whatever thing created you. And so if it feels like something you would like to do today, you can let your hands come and find each other in a prayer position toward heart center. As you now feel this pulse of your heart in both of your hands, and feeling your hands pulsing into each other, as you allow your heart to lift toward your thumbs as your thumbs press back toward your heart. Tuning in to the unique, steady background beat to your entire life. Your own heartbeat. And calling in one final deep, full breath of air into the body, filling up to every corner and edge of you. And as you exhale, letting go of anything at all that you are ready to let go of, as you allow the head to gently bow. As you take this moment to bow to the source of energy that allows all of our hearts to beat, whatever you believe that to be. And bowing to everyone else in this space who has listened and completed this practice right alongside you. And finally bowing to yourself for choosing to show up today and taking the time out of your busy life for this pure act of self-love and self-care. And may this act continue to heal you through the rest of your days and nights. And may you bring this same love and understanding to everything you do and to everyone that you see. Thank you.